Hi, I'm Kim Tasso, and today we're going to look at some key points around pitching. Now, pitching is a really big topic, and it covers loads of like selling skills and interpersonal skills. In fact, I spent a whole day training on a pitch, and that still doesn't cover everything. But anyway, today I'm just going to cover kind of 5 key points, and you can read the blogs on my website for lots more information. One of the key things around pitching is very often we concentrate on gathering the information and the data and all the facts and figures, the very rational side of pitching, and often we neglect the fact that most business decisions even are reliant on quite emotional factors like, the culture of our organization, or even the personalities of our team who are pitching, and that has a big impact on what's happening on. So when I started working with law firms, they talked about pitches being beauty parades, that we line up everybody and with everyone and hope that the client picks us. So I thought, as I illustrated the points, we would do a virtual kind of pitch, pretend, just to sort of kind of get a feel for what it feels like to be the client, to receive different pitches from organizations on the same brief. So the brief in this fictional story is that I want a soldier in a uniform who's obedient and is obviously a fighter. So that's my brief I've given out there, and we'll see what comes back in terms of the people pitching to me. So just 5 areas we're going to focus on today. So the first area is please have a pitch process, because too often an invitation to tender or to pitch comes in and we get very excited and we rush into preparing our response. We need to step back and have a real hard think about, do we want to do this pitch? Most firms will have a go, no go set of criteria to make sure we don't spend loads of time pursuing a pitch that either isn't profitable or where we've got no chance of winning. So you need a process that takes you through each stage of what you have to do in a pitch, and this makes sure that you set a timetable and that you meet the client's deadlines, because you don't want to miss the deadline. That would be a disaster. Okay, so here's my first pitch submission come in. You can see it here, and the people sending in the pitch said, here is our response to your pitch. It's in a uniform, clearly a soldier. He's very, very obedient, and he's a good fighter. So that's pitch 1. Seems to be pretty good. So we'll put him over here. Okay, so my second point is around please do your research and develop empathy with the client. The client sent you a brief, but you do need to do a lot of research for your pitch. So you'll start with your internal systems, what contact have we had with this person before, what similar clients have we got, what similar work have we done. So really interrogate your internal systems, and then you do a lot of external research to learn more about the client and their sector and the issues they face and their business and their department and their people and their personalities. So you really have to do a lot of research around that. Now, larger firms will often have dedicated research and analyst teams who can help you with that, and they'll pay for lots of market intelligence systems to get that data, whereas smaller firms will have to do more of that legwork themselves. But hey, social media is brilliant. You can find loads of information these days on social media about organizations, about people. The other thing is on pitches is a key area is when you make it all about you need to do the research and to really understand the client, so you can develop empathy and see things from their perspective. This way you can find out about their additional needs beyond what they've put in the brief, and maybe also the underlying reasons for their purchase request. Okay, my second pitch submission has come in. Okay, so it says it's a soldier, it's in uniform, very obedient, and obviously a fighter. Okay, pitch 2. Okay, so pretty consistent there. Right. The third point is to start building the relationship at the earliest opportunity. Don't forget that selling starts at the very first contact. Even an email or a telephone call to confirm receipt of the invitation, you're building a relationship. Ideally, your marketing and selling processes mean that you've already kind of established a relationship with that client and actually know that pitch or tender is coming in. You know, a key way to develop empathy is actually to meet with the client, okay, digitally in this environment. And a scoping meeting, not only can you gain lots of additional information about their needs to really understand what's going on, about their hopes and their fears and their preferences, but you can start to demonstrate your expertise with really smart questions and by sharing some insight. Okay, now here's my third submission come in. Okay, uniform, obedience, fighter. Now as a client, I'm getting a bit bored now because there is no difference between these three pitch submissions. So, you know, I will probably think, well, they're a commodity, they're all the same. I'll probably look for the lowest price, right? Okay, let's see what happens with the next submissions. So the fourth point is about craft your document and presentation with real care. Once you've done your research, you understand your proposition, your key messages, you've worked out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and at what price. And so you can now get on with preparing the pitch document. And once you've got some feedback from the client, then you can prepare your presentation. There are two stages in preparing both your document and your presentation. The first thing is to think about the content. And the second area is to think about the delivery, because that's really important. Some people make the mistake of basing their presentation entirely on the context of the document, but really find out from the client what they're interested in and also tease out a few key things to focus on. Also, you want that presentation to be as short as possible, so quickly you get to the interactive bit of working with the client and talking about questions. So that's really, really important. Okay, my fourth pitch has come in. Well, this is a bit unusual. This is clearly some sort of uniform. I'm not quite sure it's the professional background that I expected from a uniform. He's certainly a fighter. It says in the documents that come with it, he's not so good on obedience, but he's a really great leader. Oh, so this has added another kind of dimension to my pitch on the client, thinking, well, obedience or leadership. And also, this is actually called Barbarossa, which is Italian for red beard. And so this brings in a whole new angle of diversity because, you know, he's traveled all over the world. You know, he's got different roots in his background. You know, he speaks 8 languages. So that makes an interesting point about diversity. And it's also made me think as a client, you know, added on this, do I need my soldier to be able to, you know, travel around on a ship and maritime skills? Interesting submission. Okay, so that's submission 4. Right, so the 5th point is I want to be clear. You have to be really clear about what you have to offer and that it's different and relevant to the client. So we often talk about, you know, your sales strategy or a USP, unique selling proposition, or value proposition. There's loads of information about this on the site. So you need to be really clear about what the client wants and needs and think beyond the brief, really, and be perhaps a bit creative and maybe a bit bold. So think about the strengths and weaknesses of your offer from the client's perspective. Think about how you're going to stack up against the competitors. Think about whether, you know, you are more generalist or specialist compared to competitors. Think about whether you're a larger or a smaller business, whether there's more risk associated with yours, whether there's a brand, for example, in your proposition. If you can't articulate succinctly why the client should hire you, then there's no way the client's going to work that out. So do that really careful piece on why choose us. Right, my 5th submission has come in. Okay, now this says, you know, originally trained as a soldier, but now is a specialist with the SAS. He has very modern communications technology and very modern weaponry. So I've got a whole piece here, which is a bit different because he has got a kind of uniform. He's definitely got the obedience bit. And they say also he's very good at taking the initiative in very difficult situations. So I'm liking this. But the other interesting thing is the people sending in this pitch said, we understand there are features, uniform, obedience, a fighter, but we think your underlying needs are that you want protection and that you feel safe. Wow, interesting understanding of the needs. So there we go with proposition 5. I'll put it up there. So my 5 key points on pitching and tendering: have a process, do your research, develop empathy, build the relationship at the earliest opportunity, craft your document and presentation with care, and be clear about what you offer that differentiates my lineup. Who would you choose? Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching and listening. Good luck with your pitching.